Now the next topic is algebra of complex numbers. Algebra of complex numbers. In this topic we will discuss about addition of two complex numbers, subtraction of two complex numbers, multiplication of two complex numbers, etc. So let us say we have got two complex numbers z1 a plus iota b and z2 which is c plus iota d. Okay, now when I say that these are complex numbers, I also need to mention that a, b, c, d belong to real numbers, so that I am able to identify which part is the real part and which part is the imaginary part. If I do not say this, that a, b, c, d belong to real numbers, then I am not sure which part is real part, which part is imaginary part. For example, if I say a plus iota b and ask you which part is real part, you cannot say anything until and unless you know that a, b belong to real numbers. Why? If you do not say this, then a may be, let us say, 2 plus 3 iota. A itself may be a complex number, right? And let us say b is a real number. Okay. Now, if a is 2 plus 3 iota, then this number will become 2 plus iota can be taken common, b plus 3 here. Right. Now, if you see, if I do not tell that a and b belong to real numbers and ask you what is the imaginary part of this number, then you may say that it is b. But here you see it is b plus 3 because I didn't mention something about a. So it is important that I need to clarify that a, b, c and d are real numbers. Number one. Addition is pretty simple, that when I add two complex numbers, I add the real parts and imaginary parts separately. For example, if I want to write z1 plus z2, then what I'll do is I'll add this and this. So I'll add the real parts and write it like this, a plus c. Then I'll take iota common and write b plus d here. Now if you see z1 plus z2, which is sum of two complex numbers, it is also a complex number, right, with real part as a plus c and imaginary part as b plus d. So if I ask you what is the real part of z1 plus z2, you will say it is equal to real part of z1 plus real part of z2. And similar statement you can make about imaginary parts. So sum of the imaginary part of this new complex number z1 plus z2 is equal to imaginary part of z1 plus imaginary part of z2. So it follows some properties. For example, the closure law. The closure law, which means that sum of two complex numbers is also a complex number. I just showed you that sum of two complex numbers is also a complex number. The sum of two complex numbers is also a complex number. In fact, some of the students may say that, sir, let us add 1 plus iota and 1 minus iota. Now if you see, it will be, iota will get cancelled and you will have 2, which is a real number. So yes, it is a real number, and I already clarified that real numbers are also a subset of complex numbers. So 2 can be written as 2 plus 0 iota, right? So sum of two complex numbers is also a complex number, so it is closed under addition, right? This is how we say it is closed under addition, right? Next, the commutative law or the commutativity. So the addition of two complex numbers is commutative. So if I write z1 plus z2 or z2 plus z1, it doesn't make a difference. You can check by taking a plus iota b and c plus iota d. You will find that z1 plus z2 is nothing but z2 plus z1. They are commutative in nature. So addition of two complex numbers is commutative, right? So what can I say about associativity? Associativity. So if I write z1 plus z2 plus z3 equals z1 plus z2 plus z3 like this or like this, they are equal, right? So the addition of complex numbers is associative in nature, right? Addition of complex numbers is associative in nature. The next is fourth property, existence of additive identity. What does that mean? If I add 0 plus 0 iota, right? Let us say I've got a complex number. If I add 0 plus 0 iota in it, it will give me the identical result, that is the same complex number as my result. So this is known as, or 0 is known as additive identity in complex numbers. And 0 is also a complex number where real part is 0 and imaginary part is 0, right? 0 plus 0 iota is also a complex number with real part as 0 and imaginary part as 0. Then there is another property which is existence of additive inverse. Additive inverse. So if I take a complex number a plus iota b, right, what do I add in this number to obtain the result 0? So what is additive inverse? Minus z is the additive inverse, which is minus a minus iota b. So this is the additive inverse. If you add these two, you will get 0 as your result. So this is the additive inverse, or you can say minus z, or negative of a complex number. It cannot be, negative, right? Because negative, when you say something negative, you say that it is less than 0. But I haven't said that this complex number is negative. No, because that statement itself is meaningless. When you say something is positive, you are saying that it is greater than 0. If you are saying something is negative, you are saying it is lesser than 0. But order relations do not exist in complex numbers. What I am saying is minus z is the additive inverse of z. That is minus a minus iota b is the additive inverse of a plus iota b. Okay. Similarly, you can talk about subtraction also. For example, a plus iota b minus c plus iota d can be written as a minus c plus iota b minus d. So this is similar to the addition, right? Now let us talk about multiplication of two complex numbers. Multiplication of two complex numbers. So I'll take these complex numbers as z1 a plus iota b, z2 c plus iota d. So if I multiply these numbers z1 into z2, the multiplication will be something like this. I'll write this as a plus iota b, c plus iota d here. Now I'll multiply c with a and then c with iota b. So I'll write like we multiply in case of real numbers. The only difference here will be that iota square will be written as minus 1. So let us do that. A into c, so it will give you ac plus iota bc. Then I'll multiply this term with these two. So I'll write iota ad and then I'll write iota squared bd. Now this iota squared can be written as minus 1. So this term AC and this will be minus BD. So I'll write these terms together, right? Of course, I know that A, B, C, D are real numbers, right? This I clarified in the beginning. So AC minus BD, and if I take iota as common, I can write BC plus AD here. So this is the real part of this complex number Z1 into Z2, and this is the imaginary part of Z1 into Z2. So this is how we will perform multiplication of two complex numbers. Now let us talk about some properties. So the number one that we will discuss is closure law, that multiplication of two complex numbers is closed under multiplication. That is, the product of two complex numbers is also a complex number. We just saw Z1 into Z2, there was a real part, there was imaginary part, so it is also a complex number. So this is how we define closure property, that the product of two complex numbers is also a complex number, right? Second, let us talk about commutativity. In complex numbers, I can say Z1 into Z2 is equal to Z2 into Z1. What all I am saying, you can confirm by taking Z1 as A plus iota B and Z2 as C plus iota D. We do not have to spend too much time here because this is a very simple concept. We just have to do it because it is given in your book, right? Otherwise, these are pretty common sense things. So commutativity, yes, the multiplication of complex numbers is commutative in nature. After commutativity, let us talk about associativity. So if I've got Z1 into Z2 into Z3 and Z1 into Z2 into Z3. So if I say Z1 into Z2 into Z3, or if I say Z1 into Z2 into Z3, right? So both are same. Hence the multiplication of complex numbers is associative in nature, right? Now, existence of multiplicative identity. Multiplicative identity. So if I multiply a complex number by 1, so if I multiply z with 1, it will give me z back. So this is the multiplicative identity. How do I write it in complex numbers? 1 plus 0 iota. So this is the multiplicative identity in complex numbers. Next that we have is multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative inverse. So if I got a complex number a plus iota b, the multiplicative inverse of it, now this complex number has to be a non-zero, right? It should not be 0 because I am talking about multiplicative inverse. So I am talking about something that I multiply it with so that I can get 1. So if I multiply z with 1 by z, I'll get 1, right? So I am talking about existence of this number 1 by z here, so it should be non-zero. The complex number z should be non-zero for the multiplicative inverse to exist. And what will be the multiplicative inverse? So it will be equal to 1 upon a plus iota b, because if I multiply a plus iota b with 1 upon a plus iota b, it will give me 1. Now we do not write it like this, we write it in a form so that there is no iota in denominator, or we always try to write our answers in a plus iota b form, right? We do not write these in 1 by a plus iota b form. We try to write it in a plus iota b or p plus iota q form. For example, in this, what I'll try is, I'll try to remove iota from the denominator. So how do I do that? I'll multiply and divide this by a minus iota b. Now you will see that what is a plus iota b into a minus iota b. It is equal to a squared minus iota b squared. And what is iota squared? It is 1 minus 1, right? So it will be equal to a square plus b square. A plus iota b into a minus iota b is equal to a square plus b square, right? So the denominator is a square plus b square, and what is the numerator? A minus iota b. So this is the multiplicative inverse, and if you want to write it in p plus iota q or a plus iota b form, as we say, so this number, this complex number can be written as, I'll write the a by a square plus b square, the real part separately, and then iota b upon a squared plus b squared separately. Now this is the multiplicative inverse of a non-zero multiplicative inverse of a non-zero complex number a plus iota b, right? So the only thing that you need to take care of is that it should be non-zero. And another thing that you need to appreciate, that a plus iota b, the multiplicative inverse is a minus iota b divided by a square plus b square, right? Similarly, multiplicative inverse of a minus iota b, if you check, will be a plus iota b divided by a square plus b square. So you just need to change this sign here, sign of the imaginary part, and then divide it by a square plus b square. We will also learn about these terms. What is this called? This is also known as conjugate of this complex number a plus iota b. What is conjugate of a complex number? Where we just change the sign of imaginary part. So what I am saying here is, if I have got a complex number a plus iota b, then its conjugate is a complex number a minus iota b, right? So what I am saying is that I just need to change the sign of the imaginary part to find its conjugate. So what will be the conjugate of a minus iota b? It will be equal to a plus iota b. What I am writing here is conjugate, right? So if I ask you the conjugate of minus 3 plus 4 iota, it will be equal to minus 3 minus 4 iota. I just need to change the sign of imaginary part, right? So if I give you 5 iota plus root 2 here, its conjugate will be minus 5 iota plus root 2, right? This is how we write the conjugate of complex numbers. So conjugate of c plus iota d is c minus iota d. Is it correct? Yes, it is correct if I say that c and d belong to real numbers, right? As I told you in the very beginning, that if you do not mention that c and d are real numbers, then you may make a mistake here, because if c is also a complex number, then the problem will be to identify the real part and imaginary part, which I have told in the beginning. So it is important that you mention that c and d belong to real numbers. Then you can say that the conjugate of this is this, and vice versa is also true, right? And if z is a complex number, its conjugate is denoted by z bar. Its conjugate is denoted by z bar. So if z is equal to a plus iota b, where a, b belong to real numbers, then z bar is equal to a minus iota b, right? And if you see, if you add z plus z bar, you will get this iota b will get cancelled. You will get 2a. So z plus z bar is what? It is a purely real number, right? And what is z minus z bar? If you subtract this from this, then you will get, a will get cancelled, you will get minus 2 iota b, right? Minus 2 iota b. So these are the some of things I wanted you to appreciate. And another thing is modulus of a complex number. What is modulus of a complex number? If I've got a plus iota b, if I've got a plus iota b, modulus is, and let us say this is z. So modulus is denoted by this simple modulus sign, right? And it is equal to square root of a squared plus b squared. A square plus b square, or you can say real part of z squared plus imaginary part of z squared and then square root, right? This is known as modulus of a complex number. We will learn about modulus when we plot this on xy plane or Argand plane or complex plane, right? What we will do is, we will, like in real numbers, a b are real, right? So we will take the coordinates as a comma b. As this is complex number, so we will make a complex plane which will be just similar to xy plane, right? Only the names are different. That this axis is known as real axis, this axis is known as imaginary axis. So these coordinates are like the coordinates in Cartesian coordinate system. Only difference is that this will be like, only difference is of the names, right? This is complex plane, complex plane. So there are some similarities, but this is different, right? This is imaginary axis, this is real axis, this is a complex plane. We also call it Argand plane. So we will discuss about it in the next lecture, but I just gave you a glimpse of it. So while discussing the multiplicative inverse, we said that a complex number a plus iota b will have its multiplicative inverse as 1 upon z, that is 1 upon a plus iota b. And we also noticed that 1 upon a plus iota b was equal to a minus iota b divided by a squared plus b squared. This is what we discussed about, right? Or you can discuss it here also, that if you write 1 upon a plus iota b, what is it equal to? 1 upon a plus iota b can be written as like this. So I can multiply and divide it with the same complex number. And what can I write it as? A minus iota b. And if you look at this product here, this is nothing but a squared plus b squared. Now that you know what is conjugate and what is modulus, can you say that 1 upon a plus iota b, that is 1 upon z, is equal to, this is the conjugate of this number, that is z bar, and divided by, this is square of the modulus, right? What was modulus? It was equal to square root a squared plus b squared, and it is square of the modulus. So can I write it as mod z squared? So from here, what can you say about a number, complex number, and its conjugate, product of a complex number and its conjugate, it is equal to mod z squared. This is an important equation that you need to memorize. Another thing that we need to write the properties of modulus, and then we will learn some identities. We already know those identities, we will just write them in complex numbers. Then the introduction part will be over and we will start the exercise. So if you have mod z1 into z2, you can write it as mod z1 into mod z2. Now these are the results that I am writing. You may confirm these results by taking a plus iota b as z1 and c plus iota b as z2, right? These results can be confirmed. And about division, you just need to have a non-zero complex number in the denominator. So z2 is non-zero, right? So z1 upon z2 mod is equal to mod z1 upon mod z2. z1 into z2 conjugate will be equal to z1 conjugate into z2 conjugate, right? So the conjugate of product of two complex numbers is equal to product of conjugates of those complex numbers, right? And z1 plus minus z2, let us say, and you take conjugate of it. So you can write it as z1 conjugate plus minus z2 conjugate. So these are some of the properties that you need to take care of. And similarly, we can say about z1 upon z2 conjugate is equal to z1 conjugate upon z2 conjugate, and of course z2 is non-zero and z1 is also non-zero in this, because if you see z2 conjugate is nothing but z1, and if z1 z2 are not conjugates of each other, we have to mention that z2 is non-zero, so its conjugate will also be non-zero. So it is okay if we say z2 is non-zero. Okay, right, now let us talk about those identities, and then the introduction part will be over. What identities am I talking about? I am talking about those identities that we learned in real numbers also, a plus b whole square. So in complex numbers also you can see that these identities are somewhat similar or same. So you can write it as z1 plus z2 into z1 plus z2. Now if you multiply these, you will get z1 squared, z1 into z2, or you can write like this, z2 into z1 plus, then you will write this as z1 into z2, then z2 whole squared. And we have studied about the commutativity in multiplication of complex numbers. So we can write these as, this is z2 into z1, this is z1 into z2. So I can write this as z1 into z2. So the identity will be z1 squared plus 2z1 z2 plus z2 squared. And this is the similar identity that we had in case of real numbers, and same thing will happen for other identities. And about the identity a minus b into a plus b, we used to write a square minus b square there. But here if I've got some complex number, iota squared is to be written as minus 1. This thing is to be taken care of. Rest all identities will work as same. So let me write those identities for you. So z1 minus z2 squared will be z1 squared minus 2z1 z2 plus z2 squared, and then z1 plus z2 cubed will be written as z1 cubed plus 3z1 squared z2 plus 3z2 squared z1 plus z2 cubed. Right, this is how we write the identities. I want you to write rest of the identities yourself. So the introduction part is over. Now we will start the questions.